Yeah, DK. I will definitely have the article posted today, later. It's almost finished. The PDF, I might need an extra day because the PDF that ChatGPT made is really not good. I'm not happy with it. ChatGPT is not good at making PDFs. Not yet. It's not good at it yet. Whenever I ask it to make a PDF for me, it's always very basic and very not detailed and not. It doesn't look good. It's not well organized. It doesn't include everything I want it to include. So I'll probably have to make the PDF myself, and that will take me a day. Okay? But the article I will finish today. I'm almost finished with the article. Yeah, PDF converters, I know, but they just don't work well. Yeah, but when you ask ChatGPT to make a PDF, it just doesn't do it well yet. I've asked it to make many of them, and I'm never happy with it. You're going to the swimming pool? I'm jealous. Hello, everyone. Hello, Basam. Hello, Lem. Hello. So, we're going to get started here in just a minute. And today is called Blog Out Loud. So, today I am going to be reading from my blog some of the articles. I'll share them and read them and explain them. And if you have questions about them, you can ask me. Okay? I want you to read my blog, but some of the articles are a little bit difficult. Okay? Some of the writing is a little bit more difficult. Usually when I teach here, I use simple language most of the time. But when I write my answers, sometimes I use a little bit more advanced language. Okay? So, today, I will read them and I can explain them. And if you don't understand, you can ask me. All right? And these are articles that are good for your learning process. Okay? Among other things. All right. So, I'm going to try to quickly go through. Let me think. Which one should I do first? Let's start with this one. This is a new one that I wrote just recently. Let me share. Okay, so we're talking about this one here first today. This one is the value of learning to teach. Okay? I wrote this article because I want you to see that when you learn how to teach anything, it benefits you as a learner because it teaches you how to organize your thoughts for learning. It teaches you how to learn better. When you teach someone else, it refines your learning process by refining your teaching process. Okay? So, let's talk about this one. Okay, so as I read, if you have questions about the vocabulary or if you don't understand something that I wrote, write your question in the chat. Okay? And DK, I'm going to try to finish that article and I'll send you a link to it so you can read it. Okay? All right, so let's talk about this one here first. The value of learning to teach. There is a quiet truth about teaching that often goes unnoticed. When you decide to teach something, you do not just share what you know. You discover what you really know. The very act of asking yourself, how would I explain this to someone else, changes your relationship with the subject. Suddenly, it is not enough to carry around a loose familiarity or a jumble of facts. So this sentence is a little bit more difficult than it needs to be. Sometimes when we're learning, we have random things that we've learned. We learned a little bit of this and we learned a little bit of that, but there was no order and there's no process. So that's not good, right? You can't really do something well if you don't have any organized knowledge, okay? So it's not enough to have a loose familiarity. Loose familiarity, to be familiar means to know it well. So a loose familiarity means you don't know it well. And a jumble of facts. Jumble means like a mess. It's like a pile of facts that are not in order. It's a big mess. Okay? So that's a jumble of facts. So it's not good enough. It's not good enough to have a jumble of facts. It's not good enough to just have a loose familiarity. Yeah, it's a mix, right? So you have to slow down. You have to examine the material and organize it in a way that makes sense beyond your own head. Okay, so what this means basically is when you have to teach someone something, now you have to think about organizing it so that you can teach it. Okay, and that's a good process to do. Okay, hello to all the new people. We are reading my blog. If you have questions about the vocabulary or you don't understand this, you can ask me questions about this. Today we are talking about my blog. All questions must be about my blog. If your question is not about my blog, I will not answer it. Okay, so this step of deciding to teach forces you into a different mode of thinking. It requires you to become systematic. To have system. Okay, a system. You can no longer afford to skip around randomly. You must ask, what comes first? What comes after? What is essential? And what is secondary? So essential means most important. Secondary means not as important. Okay? It's second. How do the pieces connect into a whole? You are compelled to look at things holistically, like a whole. Holistically means like the whole thing. Okay? The entire thing. So you're forced to look at everything, the complete picture, to recognize both the forest and the trees. That's an idiom. To see the forest and the trees means that you see the big picture and you see the small picture. Okay? Compelled. What does compelled mean? To compel someone means to... it's like insisting that they do it, like you really need to do this, right? If I tell you, hey, you really need to do this, I am compelling you to do it, okay? I'm imploring you to do it, okay? It's not, sometimes compel can be force. Sometimes it can be force, but it also can just be like a feeling, right? So you can be compelled physically, but you can also be compelled mentally or emotionally, okay? So it means if I compel you by force physically, then I am physically touching you and forcing you to do something. If I compel you by emotions, then I'm telling you a sad story that makes you feel something so you want to do something. If I compel you by intellect, by your thoughts, then I'll make a logical argument, and that logical argument will make you want to do something. Okay? Yeah, it's a strong suggestion, yeah, but I think it's more than that. It's a little stronger than strong suggestion. That's why we have this word, because it means a little bit something more than that. Yeah, it's like an urge, but it's like, right, it's stronger that way. If I compel you, if I say I'm compelling you to do this, that's pretty strong, okay? So what this means is you are compelled to look at things holistically. Means when you want to teach something, now you can't just look at one part. You have to look at all the parts. You're forced to look at everything when you teach. Okay? You understand, everyone? You need to put them in an order that can be followed. Okay? So, for the teacher, this is a powerful form of learning. By designing a lesson or structuring an explanation, you end up clarifying your own understanding. So, when you think about how would I explain this to someone else, guess what? The process of doing that, the process of thinking about how could I explain this, that means you now have a better understanding too. Just thinking about that, thinking about how you would explain it, makes you understand it better. It's a deeper understanding, okay? It's one thing to know something, it's another thing to be able to explain it. All right? So, you see the gaps in your knowledge that were invisible before. A gap means something missing. Okay, so there's a gap between this and this. There's a gap, right? You missed something. Okay, that's a gap in your knowledge. And they were invisible before. You couldn't see them. You strengthen the weak spots that you once glossed over. This is a good kind of phrasal verb here. To gloss over something means to do something or look at something without much care. To do it very, very carelessly, right? So you didn't really try hard. You didn't really think about it. You just kind of glossed over it. Okay? So you strengthen your weak spots. When you think about how to teach, how to explain it, it strengthens your weak spots, your personal weak spots. Now you have to explain your weaknesses to someone else. That's hard to do. Okay? What was vague becomes sharp. Vague means unclear, not clear. Sharp means clear. Okay? So before it was vague, it was unclear. But now you think about how would I explain this? It becomes clear. Okay, that's the beauty of teaching. What was intuitive becomes explicit. Intuitive means inside your mind, like a feeling. Okay, it's an intuition, is a feeling, a sense. Okay? When it becomes explicit, that means if something has become explicit, that means it's not a feeling, it's a fact. It's a reality. It's real. Okay? Yes, vague equals unclear, but it's V-A-G-U-E. Vague. Okay? What was vague becomes sharp. What was intuitive becomes explicit. So what was inside you, kind of a feeling before, just a feeling of, well, how do you do this? Well, I don't know. I just kind of do, right? That's the way you did it before. Now when someone asks you, well, how do you do this? you can say, well, you do it this way, and then this way, right? Or it's this, this, and this. You can explain it. It's now explicit, okay? The opposite of explicit is implicit. Implicit inside, explicit outside, okay? In preparing to teach, you learn more deeply than you might have by simply studying for yourself. So when you study for yourself, you're doing okay. But when you think about how you would teach it, you're studying on a much deeper level. Okay, so honestly, when I learn anything now, anything that I learn, I am thinking about learning it, and I'm thinking about how would I teach this? How would I explain it? Because if I can explain it, then I really know it. All right? All right, let's continue. There is also a secondary benefit to teaching that extends beyond the subject you may happen to be working on. So there's another benefit. Besides just knowing it better, there's another benefit. It is not only about seeing one more thing clearly, it is about developing the skill of pedagogy itself. Pedagogy is teaching. Okay? And teaching is a skill because it's an art of explanation. Okay? It's an art of communicative explanation. Okay? Communicative. Ooh, that's a hard word to say when my mouth is dry. Let's drink some coffee so I can say that again. All right. If you have questions, please ask me your questions. We're talking about my blog. Questions must be about my blog. If you have blog questions, vocabulary, things you don't understand about what I am saying, please ask me and I will explain. Okay? So every time you break something down in order to teach it, you are practicing a transferable art. So if you learn how to break it down means to how do I break this big thing into some parts, right? When you teach something, you're always thinking about one big thing, and then how do I break it down into the parts, right? That's breaking it down, okay? Let me break it down for you means let me explain it to you, okay? If someone says that, you might hear that in a TV show or a movie. Let me break it down for you. Let me explain. Yeah, that's right, okay? So, every time you break something down in order to teach it, you are practicing a transferable art. That means you're practicing the art of breaking things down. You get better. So you can break this thing down. Okay, great. You can explain English. Great. Now you can also break down math. Now you can explain math. You can break down whatever you need to break down, right? So it's an art, the art of breaking things down. Okay, you're practicing disassembly and reassembly. Disassembly means to take things apart. Reassembly means to put them back together, to reassemble, to break it apart, to reassemble. Okay? Prioritization, to prioritize, means to put things in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which one is most important? Which one is least important? Most, least. Okay? Prioritize. And the creation of a system out of complexity. So you did have a big complex thing. It was a big complex thing before, but now you have a system that you created to explain the complexity. Okay? Your system can explain the complexity. Okay, so the art of breaking things down. Think about what happens when you try to explain something to a beginner. Let us say you're teaching someone to cook a simple pasta dish. You may have made it hundreds of times, throwing in ingredients by feel. Oh, I just know. I don't need a recipe. I just know how to do it. But the moment you try to teach it, you realize you cannot just say, well, toss it in the pan and cook it until it's done. You have to be specific. How much oil goes in the pan? Do you heat the pan first? When do you add the garlic so it does not burn? Suddenly, what was once instinct becomes a clear sequence. So cooking is a great way to learn the art of teaching. Okay? If you know about cooking and you explain something to someone, then you can learn how to teach. It's the art of teaching, right? Cooking is something we all learn a little bit. Somebody teaches us something. Your mom teaches you, your dad teaches you, your brother, your uncle, somebody teaches you something, right? And they have to explain it to you. You have to have an order. That's right. Yeah. You have to tell people what are the ingredients you need and what is the process, right? What exactly are you going to be doing? Are you frying it? Are you baking it? Are you roasting it? Are you grilling it? Are you steaming it? Right? What temperature are you going to use? Right? All of these kinds of things you need to explain, right? How can you break things down in an easy and simple way? Well, that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about the art of breaking things down, okay? So, or you can imagine showing someone how to play the guitar. Some people, they can play the guitar and they know how to play the song. They don't need to think about how to play the song. They know it. But if you have to explain it to someone else, now you have to think about, oh, well, it's a G minor chord, and then it's an F major chord, so your finger has to go like this, and this one you have to strum like this, right? You have to explain it. You have to explain it. Let's see. You must explain finger placement, rhythm, and strumming patterns bit by bit in order. You begin to see the skill in layers, where before you only saw it as a whole. Okay? So, this ability to break something down into fundamental steps, fundamental means most important, most basic, and important is fundamental. The fundamental steps is a skill that grows stronger the more you practice it. So the more you do it, the better you get. Okay? Once you develop it, you can apply it anywhere. Cooking, music, mathematics, programming, sports, business management. The subject does not matter. If you can teach one thing, you can teach another. The real ability lies in seeing the subject pedagogically. So this word means to think about it in a way that can be taught. Pedagogically means in a way that can be taught. Okay? Is it true that the key to explaining well is patience? Patience is very important, sure. But I think that understanding, when you try to understand things, that's when you need patience. When you're explaining something, you do need patience, but you need clarity is most important. You need to think about which words can I use that will make the point most clear, right? Sometimes you need to just explain it like a fact. Sometimes you can use an analogy, right? Maybe they don't understand it, but you can say, well, it's like this. You know, it's like when the moon rises, or it's like when the birds fly south for the winter, whatever. You can make an analogy, a comparison to something else, and then they'll see it, they'll understand it more clearly. Okay? So I think clarity is the most important part, and that means you have to choose your words well. And that does require some patience. Okay? Hello, Carlos. How are you? And hello, Kali. I'm fine. We are reading from my blog, so please pay attention. Okay? Let's go back to my blog. What happened? There we go. All right. Teaching as map making. Another way to understand this is to think about teaching as map making. Imagine knowledge as a vast landscape. Vast means really, really big. A vast landscape you have explored on your own. You know the way from the mountain to the river, and you know the way from the river to the valley. But only because you have walked those trails many times. You do not have a map. You just know how to get around. But when you have to teach someone else, you cannot just point vaguely and say, head that way. You must create a map. You have to decide which paths matter, which landmarks are most important, which detours should be avoided. Okay, so a detour would be like maybe there's one path that the bridge is not washed out. The bridge in the last storm, the bridge got destroyed, right? So the bridge is not there, so you can't go down that road. That means you have to take a detour. Okay, that means you have to go a different way. All right? Okay, so your turn and your private sense of direction. You turn your private sense of direction into a clear guide that anyone can follow. So teaching is like making a map for someone. Teaching is like making a map. The name of my blog is. We're reading from here. I should have given you this before. This is the article we are reading right now. Okay? Hello, Potato. I'm fine. How are you? Okay, but when you have to teach someone else, you cannot just point vaguely and say, head that way. You must create a map, right? So that process is demanding, but also clarifying. So it's difficult, but it also, when you finish it, you feel like you understand better. Okay? So by making the map, you see the terrain more clearly yourself. And just as importantly, once you've created one map, you get better at making others. The more you learn to teach, the better you get at mapping knowledge of any kind. So once you know how to make one map, you can make another map, right, for a different thing. Okay? This process benefits both the teacher and the learner. For the teacher, it strengthens understanding and builds the skill of breaking down complexity. For the learner, it creates a structured pathway that feels navigable instead of overwhelming. Navigable means able to be navigated. To navigate means to be able to find your direction, to find your way, to make a path. Okay, so if you can navigate it, then you can go there. If you can't navigate it, then you have no way to go there. You don't know where you're going. Okay, so now when you have a map, it feels navigable. You can look at the map and say, oh, we're going this way. Okay, now you know which direction you're going, instead of being overwhelmed, to feel overwhelming. A sense of overwhelming, oh no, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay? But there is a third angle, teaching yourself. In many cases, you may not have a teacher available, or you may be trying to learn something new on your own. Here, adopting the mindset of a teacher becomes a powerful tool. So here's what I mean is, sometimes you're not trying to teach someone else. You are trying to teach yourself. You're trying to learn something by yourself. But when you learn something by yourself, if you think about it like a teacher, you'll do better. If you think about organizing it like a teacher would, it will be easier for you. Okay? So, when you're learning, you need to think about yourself like you have two of you. There are two of you. There's the student, you, and there's the teacher, you. So now you have to think about, how would teacher me teach this to student me? Okay, how would teacher me teach this to student me? Okay, it's a good process to think about. If I were to teach this, how would I structure it? What's the first principle I need to grasp? What comes next? Grasp means to grasp something. I'm grasping the microphone. To grasp means to hold something. Okay? So if I say, what principle do I need to grasp? Means what principles do I need to understand to grasp them? Do you grasp this? Are you grasping what I'm teaching? Means, are you understanding? Okay, are you understanding? In effect, you become both the student and the teacher. You're both at the same time, student and teacher. Your learning becomes more intentional, more complete, and more efficient. Okay? Self-learners who train themselves to think pedagogically are at a great advantage. I think this is very true. Okay? Instead of just consuming information, they create systems of understanding. So, every time I try to learn something now, I have systems. I have many, many ways of creating systems. I understand breaking things down. It's the first thing I do when I try to learn something. I break it down. Okay? But you have to practice that. You have to get good at it. Okay? They build their own methods. How many methods do I have? I've told you about so many of my own methods. Right? Their own curricula. Curricula is a word. It's a word that comes from Latin. It means all of what are you going to be learning is your curriculum. Okay, the curricula means everything that is scheduled to be learned. Okay, everything that you plan to learn is the curriculum. Okay, or curricula is the plural. Okay, and their own sense of progression. So their own sense of progress. This is first, this is second, this is third. Okay. In the long run, this makes them more adaptable, more capable, and more confident in tackling new subjects. More adaptable. You can adapt. When new things come to you, okay, no problem. It's new. All right, I can do this. I'll figure it out. You're capable. To be capable means I can do it. And more confident. Okay? All right, we're almost finished, guys. Just one more part. Teaching as a universal skill. The act of teaching does not belong only in classrooms. The art of teaching, the act of teaching, does not belong only in classrooms. Parents teach children. Managers teach employees. Friends teach hobbies to one another. Maybe you've taught one of your friends about a video game before, or you've taught one of your friends about a sport before, right? Athletes coach teammates. Even casual conversations often contain teaching moments, whether it's showing someone how to use an app, fix a bike, or play a game. Every one of these moments is an opportunity to practice the art of breaking things down. Each time you do it, you refine your ability to see the essentials, the things that are most important, to prioritize steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and to make knowledgeable to make knowledge accessible. That means when you explain it, people can understand it. It's accessible. They can access it. Means they can understand. They can touch it. They can reach it. Okay? It's accessible. That's what teachers do. They should make knowledge accessible. Okay? The more you do it, the more natural it becomes. Over time, you begin to notice that you do not just know things, you know how to know things. You understand how learning itself works, so you can apply that understanding wherever you go. Learning how to teach something changes you. It makes you a deeper learner of the subject itself, but it also makes you something more. It makes you a builder of systems, a maker of maps, and an architect of knowledge. It trains your mind not only to understand, but to organize, to clarify, and to guide. Teaching is not just about passing on information. It's about cultivating a way of seeing the world. To cultivate means to grow, to create. A way that turns confusion into clarity, chaos into sequence, and information into growth. To learn how to teach is to learn how to learn. And once you carry that with you, no subject is too daunting. No field too complex. Daunting means scary. Okay? Intimidating is daunting. Okay? So when you know how to teach, you know how to learn. And when you know how to learn, you're not afraid of learning anything. The art of teaching unlocks the art of learning itself. And that is a gift that multiplies endlessly, both for yourself and for everyone you share knowledge with. That's that. That one is complete. The end, as it were. Okay, so that is called the value of learning to teach. The basic idea is when you learn how to teach something, you learn how to learn. You understand learning better. And it's a very good skill. And you know, one thing I did not include that I should have included is this skill is very important for many people, but there is one group of people that this skill is most important for. This skill is most important for parents. For parents. Every parent is a teacher. Every parent is a teacher. You teach your kids how to tie their shoes. You teach your kids how to ride a bike. You teach your kids how to make lunch for themselves. You teach your kids how to do math on their homework assignment. You teach your kids every day. So you should care about teaching. You should care about being a better teacher. Okay? If you're a parent, this article is very important for you. Okay? The value of learning how to teach is that's the value of being a good parent. I want you to think about it. Good parents should be good teachers, right? Good parents should be good teachers. Isn't that natural? Doesn't that make sense? Shouldn't every parent be a good teacher? They should. They should. But most parents don't think about it enough. They don't consider themselves teachers. But you are. You're a teacher. So you should care about teaching. So how to teach well? Well, you can go back and read that article. Yes, good parents should be good teachers. All right. So that was the first article that we're talking about here today. I'll do another one. Probably we only have time to do two. But I want to show you a few of them first. I'll just show you my blog. All right. So here is my blog here. Be a Language Warrior. Right there I am. And Teacher Mark. Okay. Wow, 13 people. Woohoo! All right. So if you go down here and you can look at my articles. So this first article is called Code Switching, Authenticity, and the House of Language. So this is about something called code switching. Code switching is a psychological linguistic term. It's a term of language, but it's also a term of social interaction, the way we act with people. Okay, so for example, when you talk to your parents, you probably speak differently to your parents than you do to your close friends. And when you speak to your boss, you probably speak differently to your boss than you do to your aunt or your uncle, right? So that's called code switching. When you change the way you talk, when you meet a child, you know, when you see a young child, oh, hi, hey, how are you, right? And you talk differently. Why? Because you're talking to a child now, right? So that's called code switching. This is an article about code switching. The next article here is called Balance Your Social Media. Follow as much as you block. This one is not about English or language. It's just about one very simple fact. Most of what is on social media is garbage. Do you agree or disagree? Most of what is on social media, whether it's Facebook or TikTok or Twitter or whatever, it doesn't matter. Most of it is garbage. At least 50%. Let's agree to that. At least 50% of what is on the internet is not good. It's not worth watching. It's bad for you. It's just garbage. Can we agree 50%? 50% of the internet is poo-poo? Okay, so if that's true, then here's the next question. Every day when you're on the internet, you find things that you like and you follow them. But do you find things that you don't like and block them? That's what this article is about. If 50% of social media is garbage, then you should treat it that way. Then you should be throwing away 50% of what you see, right? But you don't do that. You're not cleaning out the garbage, everybody, and you need to. It's more important now than ever. Now it's more important than any other time before. What you watch is what you are. So are you watching garbage? Do you want to be garbage? If you want to be garbage, then watch garbage. But the point is very simple. Blocking is just as important as following. Blocking is just as important as following. Okay? So if you see something stupid, don't just scroll by. No, do more than that. Go block it. That's what you should do. If I see a page, if they post one stupid thing, then I know they have no standard. I know they have no class. So I don't need to follow anything else that page has to offer. And there are millions and millions and millions and millions of pages. So yes, block, 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 block. Make your social media more healthy. It's not healthy if you never block anything. If you never, ever, ever remove the bad things, then you are allowing your social media to be unhealthy. Okay, so that's what this article is about. If you follow, great. But how many did you block today? That's the question. How many did you block today? 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 All right. All right, this is the one we just read, The Value of Learning to Teach. Okay, then the next article here is about shadowing. Shadowing. Many people ask me the question, Teacher Mark, is shadowing good? Or, Teacher Mark, what is shadowing? I keep hearing people say shadow, but what does shadowing mean? This article is about what is shadowing and why you should do it, but how you should do it. Okay? So if you want to know about shadowing, read this article. The next article is called The 8 Pillars of Language. The 8 Pillars of Language. So this is about the 8 parts of language that I talk about all the time. Reading, writing, listening, speaking, thinking, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Okay? Reading, writing, listening, speaking, thinking, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation. Okay? Take care, Belen. I'll see you. Tell the family I said hello. I am not using an emulator. I am, if you just copy the link from the, when you set up your live stream, copy the link, paste it into your Chrome browser on your computer, and you can open it up in Chrome. Okay? All right, so the 8 Pillars of Language, that one's a really good article about the 8 parts of language and how you should learn English. Okay? This one is about vocabulary. People ask me, how do I learn vocabulary? Or I always forget my vocabulary words. Why do I always forget? How can I remember? Read this article. Whoops. Yeah, that one. Okay? The importance of having a vocabulary system. All right? The next article is called Why Do We Speak Differently Around Different People? So this is another one about code switching. Okay? Another code switching article. This one is called The Best Way to Learn, Every Way to Learn. Just yesterday, no, 2 days ago, on Saturday, somebody said, is watching movies the best way to learn? Is watching movies the best way to learn? And my answer was, no. No! No, of course it's not. If it were the best way, then when you go to school, they would just let you watch movies. Right? They would just tell you in school, hey, you have to watch Die Hard 1, 2, and 3, and all of Friends. That's your homework. They don't do that because that's not the best way. But what is the best way to learn English? The best way to learn English is every way. So TV and movies are good, sure, but so are books and videos and teachers and friends and apps and live streams and podcasts. Okay? Websites. Anything that you can get to help you is the best way. Okay? Yeah. The most ways that you can learn, that's the best way. Okay? All right, and yeah, so we're just going through some articles here. Here's another one here about attention. Attention. What is your attention worth? So again, this is kind of one of these ones about social media, about how you need to be more careful and you need to be more aware that now social media is not about selling a product. Social media is about stealing your time. Social media is about stealing your time. Okay? So you need to understand that. This article helps you understand that. Tanya, hello Tanya. But schools say the best way to learn is memorizing. Yes, and we've talked about this before, Tanya. Well, first of all, that's not entirely true. Okay, schools do encourage you to memorize, But they don't usually tell you that memorizing is the best way, and the reason why they don't tell you that is because the studies don't show that. There are many studies that show that memorizing is not the best way to learn. Okay? Now, when is memorizing a good way to learn? Memorizing is only used in school because in school they have a time limit. That's why they do memorizing. They are under a time restriction. So they are forced to try to teach everything within a time limit, which means they're forced to use only methods that work for short term. That's why schools use memorization, because the teacher doesn't need to prove the student knows it. The teacher needs to prove that the student can pass the test. Those are two different things. Okay? If the teacher needed to prove that the student knew it, then they would not use memorization. Or, as I've said before, again, memorization is okay if it's not the only thing you do. If it's step one, you memorize, and then you have many other steps that you do for learning, that is okay. That's fine. If memorizing is the first part of a multi-step process, that's okay. But that's not what most people do. In my experience, most people, when they memorize, that's all they do. They only memorize. They don't do anything else. They just memorize. And that's a failure. Okay? All right. So, yes, these are my blog articles. At the top up here, if you go to the top of my blog, you can see that there are some different topics, right? So many of my articles are called concepts because I like concepts. I like to write about concepts. That means like big ideas. Concepts are big ideas, okay? There are 2 articles here about etymology, which means the history of words. I have some articles about grammar. There are 8 articles about grammar. I have 4 chapters of my book. 4 chapters of my book are there. Okay, there are some practical tip articles, pronunciation articles, vocabulary articles. Okay? So, that's my blog. That's my blog. Okay, good. DK's got some questions, and they are good questions today. Thank you, DK. Those are good questions. Jumble of facts. Jumble of facts means, well, you know what facts are, right? A jumble means a mix of many things. A messy mix. A messy mix is a jumble. Okay? So, DK, sometimes we like to play a game called a word jumble. Word jumble. That's where you take a word and you take all the letters and you mix them up so that they're not in the right order. And now you have to guess what word that is because the words are jumbled. They're all mixed up. They're all messy. Okay, so that's what a jumble of facts means. Means you know many facts, but they're all messy. It's all not in order. You don't understand any process. There's no system. Okay? Let's see. And then explicit, let's see, on the way. Was there something about on the way? I'm trying to remember what that was in the article, on the way. On the way usually means, well, way, the original meaning of way means road. So when you say you're on the way, it means you're on the road to doing something. Okay? On the way to learning, on the way to the store. You know, it could be a real place or it could be not real. Like on the way to learning something new. Okay? I'm on the way. I'm on my way. That's right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, explicit means very clearly understood. Okay? If I say if I say listen to me explicitly, that means listen to me very carefully and clearly. Okay? These are my explicit instructions. Means these are my very clear instructions. Okay? If I say you ignored my explicit instructions, that means I told you exactly what to do and you ignored it. Okay? There is an opposite word, implicit. Implicit means inside. Explicit means outside. So when I say these are my explicit orders, that means I wrote it down. It's outside. It's factually outside in the real world. Implicit. If I say implicitly, I thought that we were supposed to raise our hands, that means inside I had a feeling that I thought that I was supposed to do this. Okay, it was an internal feeling inside. It's implicit. Okay? All right, what was the next one here? DK, I explained that much, but I'm not sure what the next part is where you said become difference, finger placement. I don't understand that part. Ask, what's that question? Okay, even at school they use to assess the IQ level, establishing a relationship between time versus amount of knowledge acquired. Right, because again though, IQ tests have now, most people don't put a lot of faith in IQ tests because they're not terribly accurate. For an IQ test to be truly accurate, it should be taken multiple times over multiple years, over periods of development. It's weird that we take an IQ test in a way to see what your raw potential is at that stage, but raw potential doesn't always mean anything. There are many people with raw potential who do nothing with that raw potential. Raw potential means nothing. So that's why you really should do an IQ test when they're very young, then maybe when they're maybe in 5th or 6th grade, and then again maybe just around somewhere in the high school to freshman year of college area, somewhere in that neighborhood, depending on the person. That would be a more accurate test of IQ. But the point is that schools need to give grades, and grades come with tests, and tests have to be done in a time limit. But learning, there are no time limits in learning in real life. Okay, maybe your boss wants you to learn something, so you have to do it in a quick manner. But for you as a person, in the development of yourself, there are no time limits. It takes you as long as it takes you to understand. Okay? I still don't understand calculus. I have tried many times, but I just suck at math. But I will continue to try. I'm not done yet. One day, maybe when I'm 85, I'll understand calculus. Okay? All right. Gamble. What is a gamble? Arya, a gamble means a risk. A gamble is a game. The word game and gamble are related. That's why the first 3 letters are the same. because a gamble is a risk. A game is a risk, right? There are two people, one person wins, one person loses, right? Okay, when you're a good teacher, you should be a good learner. That's right, yeah. The U.S. has a lot of explicit songs. Yeah, so explicit songs, that's a slightly different word. To use explicit language, in this case, means bad language. Okay? Those are explicit words, meaning they're clearly listed as bad words. Everybody knows that these words are not nice words. That's why they're explicitly known. Okay? Can I use explicit in a sentence? Again, for example, if I am teaching a classroom of students and I need to leave the classroom for a minute to go to talk to another teacher or do something important, so I have to leave the room. And when I leave the room, I say, everybody, I want you to be quiet and work on page 25. Okay? No talking. And don't get out of your seat. Those are my explicit instructions. Then when I come back, I see there's one student out of his seat and he's talking. And I will say, you ignored my explicit instructions. I told you to work on page 25 quietly and don't get out of your seat. Those were my explicit instructions. Okay? Means very clearly stated. Very clearly stated. Teacher Mark gave me explicit ideas to improve my accent. Sure, Norman. Yeah, I suppose you could use it that way. Yeah. Yeah, let me look at something here very quickly just to see what my dictionary says in terms of the other ways that it can be used. So it can mean fully and clearly expressed, right? So he explicitly explained it, right? It can mean clearly developed or formulated, so explicit knowledge or explicit belief, right? That means you have a very clear idea in your mind, right? Or it could be that you're very, very you're definite and you're unreserved and you're clear about what you want, right? You tell someone explicitly. So if I say he was quite explicit as to what he expected us to do, he was quite explicit about what he wanted us to do. That means he was quite clear. He was quite clear. Okay? Abira, why does explicit mean bad words? Because explicit means clearly stated. Clearly stated. Okay? Something has been clearly stated. Usually we're talking about rules, right? The rules have been explicitly explained or clearly stated. But this is talking about a list of words that are bad words that have been explicitly listed. We've written them down and said this word is not a good word. We shouldn't say it for kids, right? In front of kids. This word is not a good word. We wrote them down, so now it's real. You can hold it. It's explicit. I explicitly listed these words are bad. Okay? That's why it means explicit. Okay? Let's see. As we walk through, bitter, it could mean literally, as we walk through the tunnel, right? You have a tunnel, and you're walking through it, okay? But it also could have a non-literal meaning, where I could say, let me walk you through it, means let me explain it, Let me tell you about it. Okay? So as we walk through this explanation, as we walk through this whatever, so it could be talking about as we discuss how this works, as we talk about how this works. That's walking through it. Let me walk you through it. Means let me explain it to you. Okay? Have a good one, Norman. Always good to see you. Thank you very much. Is it understandable if I say the words are explicit without making them up? Well, maybe, Carlos, but I don't know what you mean by making them up. MK, you could say my strategy at work is very explicit. Okay, you could say it that way maybe. Okay? Well, what do you mean by make them up or making them up? What do you mean by that? Explicit, again, it means clearly stated. Like somewhere it's written down. The rules are somewhere. If you see a list of rules somewhere, then those rules are explicitly stated right there. They're explicit. They're written. You can read them. You cannot say, I did not know. You can't say, I didn't know. No, they're right there. They're explicitly written in front of you. Okay? So, when I say the words are explicit, means they're clearly stated somewhere. Okay, now if you're talking about making them up, maybe you mean not real, not imagined, then yes, you could use it that way. You could say that if your words are only in your mind, then they're not explicit. If your words are only in your mind, then they're not explicit, they're implicit. Implicit means in your mind, inside. Ex means outside. Okay, out means real, in the real world. So that's what you should think of. Implicit and explicit means if it's implicit, it means it's only real inside your mind. It's real here, inside your mind, but nobody can see it and nobody else knows about it. But if it's explicit, now it's outside in the real world and everybody can see it. It's explicit. Okay? Surely clear. Yeah. Okay? No, it's okay, Adam. It's important to make sure you're clear about words, you know? Implicit and explicit. Okay? All right. What time is it? Let me get rid of this thing. Let's see. I've been here for 1 hour and 12 minutes, so I think I'm going to be here for another 15 minutes. So here's what I will do. I will open the room to any question about English. If you have questions about English, then ask me, and I will answer them, or I will try. But I only have 15 minutes. So, starting now. That's right. Explicitly means it's clearly stated somewhere, right? So explicit language means this song uses some words that have been listed, that somebody has written them down and said, these words are bad. These are bad words. Let's write them down. Now it's explicit. So that means it uses explicit language. It means written language that we have said, this is bad. Bad language. Okay? Okay, good. What about merchandise? You spelled it wrong, but what about merchandise? It should be MERCHAN. Am I going to have a blog every day, or was it once? You mean, am I going to do this one every day? No. I do this one only once a month, maybe twice a month, let's say. Two times a month, maybe, I do Blog Out Loud. Okay, where I just read from my blog. I am here. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Teacher Mark. I have been on Hello Talk for 12 years. I have been live streaming for 5 years. I have done more than 1,200 live streams. More than 2,000 hours of teaching here. Okay? I have a YouTube channel. I have a website. I have a blog. I have a podcast. Okay? And I have about 83,000 followers on Hello Talk. Let's see, how many is it now? 84,000? Am I close yet? Let's see where I'm at. 83,690 followers. Okay, so I'm here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay? Sometimes I'm busy, so I'm not here. Sometimes I'm tired, so I'm not here. Sometimes something comes up, so I'm not here. Okay? But I'm here a lot. Okay? I'm definitely here much more than I'm not here. Okay? So you should follow and pay attention. I have answers for whatever questions you have about English. Okay? All right. You got it from the song lyrics, Your Last Endeavor. What does it mean? An endeavor can be a noun or a verb. So to endeavor to do something means to have a desire to do something. To want to do something is to endeavor to do something. Okay? An endeavor means something you tried to do. A task or a goal or a skill or something that you tried to do is an endeavor, right? So what are your if I say what are you endeavoring to do, that means what is your intention? What's your plan? What's your goal? What's your purpose? Okay, so what is your last endeavor? In this case, it would mean the last big thing that you did. The last big thing you do. Okay? Chris, what's up, dude? How are you, man? Good to see you. You've been doing a lot of streams lately, man. I've been seeing you all over the place here. Dry lips. I need to get chapstick. It's fall. Can I teach you the phrase, I'm cooked? Sure. Where did you see it? Tell me where you saw it first, and then I'll tell you for sure what it means. It could have a couple of different meanings. Sometimes I'm cooked means I'm in trouble. If I say, oh man, you're cooked, that means it comes from an idiom. Your goose is cooked. Your goose is cooked means you're in trouble. You are in trouble. Your goose is like your butt, and your butt is in the oven. You're in trouble. Okay, your goose is cooked. So sometimes I'm cooked means I'm in trouble, but I'm cooked also could maybe mean I'm tired. I'm tired. You're about to hit 10K. Good for you, man. Good for you. You probably did that a lot faster than I did. You know, my followers have been over many years. You are welcome, bitter. Yeah, like if maybe I'm trying to fix my computer and I pour coffee all over it by accident. I spill coffee all over my computer and I'll be like, oh, it's cooked. No, it's cooked. It's done. It's broken. It can't be fixed. It's cooked. Your old account had 35K. Why did you cancel your account? What did you cancel for? What happened to that? So you should have 40K then, 45K. Hello Talk did. Why did Hello Talk cancel you? What? WTF? Good night, Jack. Okay, all right. You can tell me in private. Yeah, don't air some dirty laundry or whatever. Okay, yeah, but that's a bummer. That's a bummer. I would be pretty pissed off if Hello Talk did that to me. I would have to be pretty pissed off. Thankfully, thankfully Hello Talk puts up with me. Your followers helped you to get back when they complained? Huh. Weirdness. Ah, the drama of Hello Talk. That's the one thing that I just try to stay out of anymore. I want nothing to do with any of the drama. That's one of the only reasons why I don't really collaborate or get involved with too many people anymore. Because I don't know why it has to lead to drama, but it seems like it does when people do. There's this whole competition kind of thing going on where people are competing with each other about being a teacher. It's weird. I have never tried to compete as a teacher or a musician, so it's weird. Yeah, our favorite person indeed. Oh, he's the one who... Oh, well, that's... You do have to tell me about that. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Bahar, for the gifts. If you gave me gifts, I appreciate any gifts you give me, okay? Here's what you need to understand about me, all right? If you give me a gift, believe me, I truly do appreciate it. Every little bit helps me a little bit. Believe me, okay? But sometimes people get a little bit upset because I don't say thank you to every coin I get and whatever. When you send me a gift, you hope I'm going to say, oh, thank you very much. But listen, I appreciate your gift, but if I'm teaching, if I'm explaining something, if I'm talking to someone, I am not going to stop in the middle of teaching to thank you for your gift. Okay? If you really want to give a gift, then I think that you understand this is like a classroom. This is like a classroom. Okay? I appreciate it. Of course I do. Of course I do. Okay? But I'm not this kind of like, oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much for the gifts. I'm sorry. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. Except for Chris. Oh, Chris, thank you so much. Oh, Chris, thank you for the gifts, Chris. Thank you. Yeah. Let's see. What's it called when people who easily get offended? Babies. We call them babies. People who easily get offended are babies. You can say, I am very humorous. Humorous. Okay? humor 就是有貌，no sorry 有梦 but humorous 就是有貌的 ，okay or humor 就是好笑 ，humorous 就是好笑的，对 ，yeah 有貌的，对。Besides being a teacher, I'm also a comedian. Some people think I'm funny. I think a lot of people do not. I think most people don't think I'm funny. But that's okay. I don't mind. Snowflakes? Sure. Yeah, that's like the new term for it, snowflakes. Yeah. I thought it was a third tone, but it's a first tone, so it's yo mo, right? Yo mo. Okay, so let's see. You have a presentation on how social media makes people isolated. Can I talk about it? Usman, what do you want me to talk about? You want me to tell you about presentations? Like how to give a presentation? Or you want me to tell you about how social media makes people isolated? You are welcome, 不客气。我感觉如果你听得懂一些，这是很好啊。OK， 一点点的。You want me to tell you how social media isolates people? Well, Usman, I can't really do that. I mean, I can speculate, Usman. Okay, I know why, but if you're asking me to give a presentation about it, then I need to do research to give a presentation. Okay, so if I were to give a presentation about this, then what I would do is first research it and then make notes and then give my presentation based on my notes. Okay? So, how does social media isolate people? Because social media gives you a sense of connection that's not real. So there are some times when people feel like they are connecting, like right now, we are on social media. Is this a real connection or not? It's kind of a little bit, maybe, right? But also not. It's not the same as real life. Do you think this would be better if you were in my room, if you were in the classroom? I have a big classroom and you are all in my classroom. In real life, do you think that would be better? Would it feel like you have a better connection with the teacher? Probably. Okay? So, social media creates the illusion of connection. Social media creates the illusion of connection. Okay? It can be a useful tool for making new connections and maintaining old connections. But it's important that you need to remember that connection requires humanity. To make a connection with someone, you have to have some kind of humanity. There has to be something real to make a real connection. All right? So, social media is a place where you can have 1,000,000 friends and have none. That's an interesting thing. You can have 1,000,000 friends and have 0 friends at the same time. So it's a very interesting thing. And social media is an unlimited environment, meaning you'll never finish exploring it. So there's an addictive quality to the internet, to social media, that makes you feel like it's a toy that you can always play with. And it can always distract you from life. So you have to be careful. Because if you play with that toy too much, it's an illusion. It's not real. So real life is happening and you are in your fantasy life on social media. Okay? Social media just creates a connection with society in a way that's not physical, in another way. Well, yeah, but connection is I think connection is not the right word. Social media creates links. A link is a kind of connection. But when I say there's a link, it doesn't sound like it's very strong. It's not a strong connection. Okay? So social media allows you to create many links to people. But for example, here's a good example. I have 84,000 friends here, 84,000 followers. Okay? But my friend Gunter in Germany and my friend Belen in Spain, I went to Europe. I met them. I stayed in their house. Now we have a human connection. So now when I talk to Belen here, when you see Belen here, she's my real friend. There's a real connection now. We are connected to each other. Okay? Now, can you make a real connection without ever seeing anyone? Yeah, you can. You know, if you feel connected to me because of my teaching, that's real in a way. It's a kind of connection. It's a kind of link. Okay? If it inspires you, then that's not a bad thing. Okay? But that's different than human connections. And I just turned 50 years old recently. Okay? So I was born in 1975. And in 1975, when I was a boy, okay, let's say 1985, I'm 10 years old. Okay, 1985 I was 10. In 1985, we didn't have a personal computer yet. We didn't have a computer at home yet. I think we got that in 1987, if I remember right. In 1985, there were no smartphones. The cell phones that they had were about as big as this brick of tissues. You know, this was what a cell phone looked like in 1985. It was huge. It was this enormous thing. And it was like $10,000. Nobody had them. Only the richest people had them. Okay? So I grew up in a time period before the internet, before social media, before cell phones, smartphones, all that. So I feel like my generation has the best understanding of what human connection really means, because we know both worlds. We grew up in a world without any of that stuff, but now we have the benefit of all of it. Okay? Why is human connection necessary, though? That's a deep question. that would take me a while to explain. But if you put a person alone for many, many, many years, most people will lose their mind. Most people will go crazy if you are isolated by yourself for an extended period of time. Okay? If they put you in jail, in a room by yourself for 24 hours a day, and you don't get to see anyone else or talk to anyone else, you will probably go crazy. Okay, yeah, we are social animals. That's right, we are social animals. We need connection. Everybody loves a hug from their mother. Because it's human connection. Okay? You need connection. Connection is important. It's very important. All right, let's see. When you explore social media, you spend more time on others but not on yourselves, resulting in people forgetting about their own people. Maybe. It depends on your self-awareness. When you use social media, are you aware of the way you use it? If you're not aware of the way you use it, then yes, it's possible you'll spend more time on things that are not important and not any time on the things that are important. Okay, aren't we doing the same thing but through a screen? It's not quite the same. No, it's not the same. Okay, if I give you a hug like this, is that the same as giving you a real hug? When I do this, do you feel it? If I say, oh, I'm hugging you guys, I'm going to hug you guys, is that the same as a real hug? It's not. It's not. So, and I don't mean just physical touch. I mean, if you know me in real life, you'll feel stronger about me. If you know me in real life, you'll feel stronger feelings about me, whether you like me or not. Okay? Okay, next, let's see. We might not go crazy, but we will get less used to human beings being around, which might give us the wrong idea about being crazy. Gawinkle. Go read about it. There are many, 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 many studies that have been done about human isolation and what happens to us when we're isolated. There are studies about prisoners who spend time in isolation. There are studies about humans who have been lost in isolation, right? Whether they're out in an island or they're off in the forest or jungle somewhere. There are many, many stories and papers and studies that are done about human isolation and the effects of what happens to you. And it's pretty clear that very few people can be isolated for a very long time and still be mentally healthy. I didn't say nobody. I said very few people can be isolated for 10 years without talking to anyone else and be mentally healthy. Okay? It's possible, but very difficult. Okay, let's see. Amber wants to know what time I am here. Okay, I don't get paid for this, all right? So that means that some days I'm not here, okay? I'm usually here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't do anything on Sunday. Nothing on Sunday. Nothing on Sunday. Nothing on Sunday. But every other day I'm usually here. Unless I'm busy or I'm sick or tired. But I'm usually here. Okay? And Amber, I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. That is the same time as New York City time. It's about 12 hours difference from Beijing time. So right now is 12:13 p.m. afternoon here. It's 12:13 a.m. in Beijing. Okay, so it's 12 hours different. So I started today 1 hour and 39 minutes ago. All right? I usually start around 9:30 or 10:30 a.m. in America. That's p.m. in China. Okay? Oh, geez. Okay, let's see. You could learn a new language spending the same time most people spend on social media. Lucas, that's kind of what I say about social media and video games. Video games, I have a bit of a problem with video games because I see too many people, especially young guys. I see way too many young guys wasting their time learning skills that are only good in a video game. And while they're learning skills in that video game, they're not learning any skills about the real world. So I see too many young guys who spend all their time trying to develop their video game character, but not any time trying to develop their character. And that's a problem. But those people who are put back in society after being isolated, they start to adapt. Again, Gowinkle, go do the reading. It's not so easy. Nobody has ever been isolated and just walked back into society like, oh, no big deal. Nobody has ever done that. No one. You're just saying what you think would happen. I'm saying what we know happens from studies. Go read the studies and you'll find out about what happens to humans when we have too much isolation. Any kind of isolation. There are many kinds. Okay. So, yeah. Look, I used to play video games, okay? And I might play one very, very rarely now in my life. But I don't spend a lot of time on them anymore. And the reason I don't spend time on them is very simple. Because it's very simple. Developing the character in the video game gets you nothing. Developing your character gets you everything. Okay? Developing the video game character gets you nothing. Developing your character gets you everything. Okay? I mean, in rehabilitation, don't those people get better? Yeah, with rehabilitation, with a lot of therapy. And, for example, Gowinkle, there is a... Do you know the story of Tarzan, the ape man, right? Well, Tarzan comes from another story, from many stories, about people who were lost in the woods and they were raised by animals, right? There are a few real stories of people, children who grew up in the forest or in the jungle by themselves with animals, and they learned animal languages and they didn't speak English or any other language, and it took many years of therapy and education for them to adapt. So, is it possible? Yeah. But what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. It's still damaging. Isolation is damaging. End of story. Too much. Too much. A little bit of isolation can be good. You should be able to stand on your own. Okay, so I'm not saying you shouldn't have any isolation. I'm saying there's a kind of isolation that is unhealthy. There is a kind of isolation that's very unhealthy. And you should avoid that kind of isolation. Humans need connection on some very deep level. Okay? It goes all the way back to when your mother held you. If you were ever held as a baby, then you like connection. Okay? So, again, a plant needs to grow and stand on its own. When the plant comes up through the ground and the winds, they blow it and they make it stronger so it can stand on its own. Okay? But if that plant is by itself in a field and there is nobody there to tend it or take care of it, it will probably die. Okay? All right. Just preparing for the AI era, maybe we will have to accommodate accordingly. If you mean that AI is going to make us more isolated, I think maybe yes and maybe no. It just depends on what kind of AI. Mervat, I don't know if you're still over there, Mervat, in my YouTube channel. You have a question about the difference between present perfect and past. Okay, so past is something that is done in the past, right? So yesterday I went to school. It happened yesterday. It was finished yesterday. It's done. Okay? But present perfect is talking about things that you are doing that you just completed. Just recently. Right? Just now. You just finished it. Okay? So anything that you just finished, that's present perfect. But anything that you finished at least a day ago, that's past. Okay? Okay. Once again, if you have any questions, I have about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. We'll call it 10 minutes. Whatever questions you have, give me your questions. I'll try to answer them. Can I elaborate on some advanced grammar? Elaine, that's a bit of a big question. What kind of advanced grammar do you want me to explain? It would be better if you had a specific question about advanced grammar. Is there something that confuses you? What confuses you about advanced grammar? Advanced grammar is sometimes the best way to learn about advanced grammar now. ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT to explain that advanced grammar rule and just keep telling it, I don't understand. Just keep saying, I don't understand. And it will keep explaining, and it will show you examples, and it will give you as much as you need until you understand. Okay? Mr. plus the last name. Right, what about it? Yes, Mr. Sampson, Mr. Jones, Mr. Smith, Mr. Raymond. Yeah, okay? So, Raymond is a first name sometimes, but it could be a last name, right? So, when people, if someone doesn't know me, maybe they call me Mr. and then my family name, okay? Mrs., M-R-S, period, that is for married women, and M-S, period, or M-I-S-S, is for unmarried women. Okay, next question. Is it right that it is rude to address people who teach as a teacher? Raymond, no. Anybody who says that, honestly, if I hear somebody say, you're not supposed to say teacher, Mark, that's not the correct way to do it. Do you know what that tells me? That tells me you have no experience as a teacher. Because there are plenty of places in the world where that is how they address you. Okay? So, for example, why am I called Teacher Mark? Because in Asia, when they address a teacher, my name would be Maka Lao Shi, okay, Maka Lao Shi, right? Which is Mark teacher. Lao Shi means teacher, okay? So Teacher Mark is the opposite of that. It's just flipping the words. That's what they are used to. That's what they're used to, is calling someone by that name. All right? Now, there is another reason why it's not weird at all to say Teacher Mark, because we also use the word professor in this way. If you go to college, Professor blah, 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 Professor Jones, Professor whatever, and sometimes they use their first name, Professor Bob, Professor Bill, whatever, okay? So, Raymond, the rule is, it's rude to call someone whatever they don't want to be called. All right? But if I want to be called Teacher Mark, then no, it's not rude. Of course not. Okay? How can you improve your speaking? RJ, I don't know. Do you know why I don't know? Because I don't know you, RJ. I don't know you. So I don't know what your problem is. I can't give you advice if I don't know your problem. And if you say, how can I improve my speaking? Then I'm going to just tell you, practice speaking more. Unless you can tell me more. You have to tell me what's your problem. Then I can help you solve that problem. But I don't know you. So if you just say, how can I improve speaking? I'm going to say, practice speaking more. Okay? Omar, what's this? What's this, Omar? It does sound propitious indeed. Propitious, it's a good word. I always like that word. Maybe you can recommend any YouTuber to watch to get something not only about learning English, about anything. Space Z, sure. I would say TED Talks. TED Talks are great. There are many podcasts that I listen to and watch. But TED Talks, TED.com, those are some of the greatest short videos with amazing concepts ever. Yeah. Do I have any advice to get to B2 in the IELTS test? B2 is not too hard. B2 is not too hard. But you're going to have to study. And you're going to have to work on your weaknesses. Okay? And you're going to have to build your B2 level vocabulary. All right? So you need to do B2 level reading, B2 level writing, B2 level listening, B2 level speaking, B2 level thinking, B2 level grammar, B2 level vocabulary, and B2 level pronunciation. You need to work on those, and then you can get a good score on the IELTS. Okay, next. Thank you very much, Raymond. You're welcome, Space Z. Ted, they are great indeed, yes. Is it effective to follow and read? How to follow and read the video correctly? Tiger, if you're talking about TED Talks, all TED Talks, they also have a transcript. That means that every TED Talk, here, I'm going to show it to you. Wait a minute. I'll bring it up on my screen so you can see it. Okay, let's see. All right, so here's an article, or here's a video about
unlocking the potential of imagination beyond the limits of whatever we live in, and doing things that couldn't be done opens up a ton of possibilities that no one would have experienced otherwise.
If you can imagine it.
Okay, so this is a video coming here about 3 simple ways to build stronger relationships at work. Okay, so
I remember the stomach flutters.
So this one here, if you go, let's see, right here. What's this say right here? Read transcript. Oh, look down here. Look, there's everything that is said. Everything is here. And they even have the audio footnote right here. This is all of the words in that video. So you can read it. You can copy this and paste it into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, can you explain this to me? I don't really understand it. Can you help me understand this video? Okay? If you give it the words, it will. All right? So that's another reason I love TED Talks, is because TED Talks have a transcript. Okay? Right there. Read transcript. Okay? You watch with the English subtitles. Subtitles are good, but you can't make notes with subtitles. But if you have the transcript and you print it, you can hold it. You can make notes. You can circle the vocabulary that you don't know. You can highlight the phrases that you really like, right? So if you copy those words and print them out, now you can study it. That's much better than the subtitles. You can't really study the subtitles, you know? EnglishVid.com. Oh, okay. All right. But transcript is always better, okay? If you're watching a TV show, every American TV show, every American movie, and every American podcast, if it's a major one, they all have a free transcript available. That's very useful. Okay? So you can watch your favorite TV show, but print it out. And now you can hold it and you can make some notes and say, oh man, I like this phrase. I want to remember this one. Okay? Or what's this vocabulary word? I don't know this word. Or, oh look, I know this word, but I was pronouncing it wrong. Right? So when you have the transcript, you can make notes and you can study. Okay? All right. Guys, it has been 2 hours. It has been 1 hour and 58 minutes, 1 hour and 59 minutes. It's time for me to go. But it's been nice having you here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for participating. Please follow me. Here is my YouTube channel. Every Hello Talk stream I do is also on YouTube at the same time. Okay, so there are hundreds of these on my YouTube channel that you can watch, and I answer hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of questions. Okay, Eva, you can go check out my YouTube if you use a VPN. Okay, and here is my website. If you go to my website, let me show you my website very quickly. Hold on. This is my website. Wrong one. Here it is. This is my website. If you go to my website, okay, you can buy lessons from me. If you want private lessons, you can buy them. They're right here, book online. Okay, book lessons with me here or here. Okay, but you can find my blog right here. You can find my blog, or you can click on resources if you subscribe to the page. You have to subscribe. If you want to see the resources, then you have to subscribe. It's free. It's free. It's free. It's free. Is it free? It's free. Okay? So, if you go to resources, look, everything you need for reading is right here. Everything you need for writing, right here. Vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, IELTS test, TOEFL test, speaking, right? So let's click on grammar. Okay, here's games-to-learn-english.com, BBC English Grammar, Dave's ESL Cafe Grammar, Elo English Grammar, Wyzant English Grammar. These are all grammar pages that are free for studying English. Okay, and they're all on my website right here at the resources link. Okay, so you can do that. You can also... This is my blog. Okay, so I have a website, I have a blog, I have a podcast, I have a YouTube channel. All right, so go check them out. All right, there are not too many people on Hello Talk who are real teachers. There are a few. There are a few real teachers, but not many. Most people who are on Hello Talk, they're just regular people who are just trying to help, and that's good too. Usually. But if you want a real teacher, that's me. And I've been here for 12 years. Really. 12 years. Okay? They've only had live streaming for about 5 years. But I was the first live streamer on Hello Talk. I think I was the first one they asked. I believe. If I remember right. Okay, I must go. I'm tired. I've been here for 2 hours. So come back tomorrow and you can see me again, okay? So have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good evening, and I'll see you guys next time, okay? Bye, everybody.